In this video, let's talk about how to set boundaries with your family if you're working at home and you have family members around, but it's very similar if you have roommates and you have kind of a common area in which you work in. The main thing you want to accomplish is that they do not randomly come and interrupt you.
This video is brought to you by Appy Pie Academy.
Or that they don't walk around or talk while you're working. Because even though you may be very tolerant of noise and things like this, every noise, every peep, every time somebody talks to you, interrupts you, breaks your focus, it's literally like taking money out of your pocket because you're going to do less work and the work that you do is going to be worse work. And every time they don't interrupt you, you do more work, better work. So these interruptions, they're not a huge topic generally, but that's a mistake because they are directly related to your eventual success. And the best way to eliminate them is effective communication. You just have to explain that what you're doing is actually really challenging for you. And even though you might not think it's that challenging, let me pose a challenge to you that you should do everything at a very high standard. And yes, you can do something to a C level or a mediocre level, or you can just get things done. But what if you made it a challenge to do your absolute best in everything you do? Then it really would be true that what you're doing is not easy, because it really would require you to give it your best effort. And if so, then you really need to communicate that to your family members so that they don't bug you or they think twice about bugging you. And since you need quiet, maybe they'll create less noise. Maybe they'll walk around less. Maybe they'll adjust. And understand that you cannot just randomly be bothered, because a lot of people, they make the mistake. They see you sitting there wherever. Maybe you're working at a dining room table or on your couch or wherever, and they see, oh, they're just sitting there totally fine because it's a home-based situation. It's a social situation. It looks like it's okay to just chit-chat about nothing because they might be bored, but you're working, and it's very easy for them to make that mistake. But you cannot be randomly bothered. So you have to explain that, hey, I'm actually working. I've got to focus. Very often, that does the job. But it doesn't mean that you should be totally antisocial. The best way to be social and maintain those family relationships is to actually make time for them by scheduling family time. And every time somebody hears this point for the first time, it's totally weird. Like, how do you schedule family time? That just sounds so distant or awkward, right? But it's actually something that a lot of people do precisely because that ensures that you spend family time. So there's a more positive way to look at this, and it would actually ensure that you have a work-life balance. And people wouldn't feel like they need to randomly interrupt you if they have some questions, because they can get those questions answered at the scheduled time. So let me make some suggestions, or I guess we can call them scripts, of what to say to politely explain your situation. You can say, I can't talk now, but let's talk at, some time. And this is the time that you might have scheduled. Here I have the example, let's talk at noon, or let's talk in 30 minutes, maybe whenever is your next break, or whenever you actually deliberately scheduled it. So that way people understand, okay, not now, but pretty soon. So most of the time they're actually happy, and you'll be able to talk to them and give them more attention and better attention because you're not working at that moment. You're not being pulled away. It's not adding to your stress level. Another thing you can say is, I really want to talk, but if I don't complete whatever I'm doing today, I'll be in trouble, or I'll lose a client, or I'll fall behind. And people really respond well to that. Another thing you can say is, I'm working hard so that we can have more money, or we can go on that vacation, or something else, because you want to communicate that you're actually working not really just for yourself, but for the whole family, right? So it's for everyone. You're not just playing around. Another thing you can say is you can say, I need a quieter environment because you're getting stressed out and you're falling behind. That's a really good thing to express. Or even if you're not falling behind, you're maybe in danger of falling behind. Or you can reverse that and say, if I finish faster, we'll be able to spend a little more time later. Or I can do another thing, or we can go somewhere later where I couldn't have gone otherwise. Or you can just say, I can't talk now, or I can't do what you need me to do because I have to work extra hours today, or I have to catch up, or I have to finish some deadline. So those are really common things you can literally say, and they express common issues that are globally more or less understood. So because of that, you'll be able to get a positive response back. It's not a guarantee that all of these will work at all times. Of course, some of them will not work at all times. Sometimes you might have a more pressing situation that you need to divert your attention to. But most of the time, these will help you set a boundary while at the same time retain your work-life balance and not have your family members feel like you're alienating them.